My name is Emmanuel Agyabeng. Coming up in the next 60 minutes. Hundreds arrested in joint military and police swoop across Ashanti, Volta and Ahafo regions, with more expected in the coming days as government tackles acts of indiscipline against the anti-Galamsey fight head-on. Meanwhile, AG to parade for witnesses in Wontumi, a contact mining case over Galamsey activities. Majority Leader Mahama Yariga petitions Speaker of Parliament over Minority Leader Fenyo Markin's ECOWAS Parliament's defiance. Much later in the world of business, will bring you updates as government hints of massive allocation to infrastructure development in 2026 budget statement. We've got the details of these stories and many others coming up shortly. Do stay with us here on this broadcast. We're grateful that you could join us on this broadcast. We begin with matters concerning the government fight against Galamsey head-on, and residents of Agyabeng and Hidiem in the Ahafo region woke up to an intense police operation on Wednesday, November 12, as a heavily armed team stormed the two towns in a coordinated dawn swoop ordered by the IGP. The coordinated operation, which is part of a broader anti-crime initiative, targeted multiple sites in the two towns, resulting in the mass detention of hundreds of men. The police service confirmed the sweeps were directly tied to two brazen attacks, one on Environmental Protection Agency staff at the Agyabeng office and another on National Anti-Illegal Mining Task Force personnel during an enforcement patrol in Hidiem. Both assaults unfolded amid intensified efforts to curb illegal small-scale mining in the area, where armed groups have increasingly targeted regulators. The suspects, we understand, have been taken to Kumasi for thorough inquiry, with authorities vowing to pinpoint and prosecute the ringleaders.
Over 300 police personnel, along with an undisclosed number of soldiers, were deployed for the exercise, which was sanctioned by both national police and military commands. Before the team set off from Kumasi at about 2 a.m. on Wednesday, October 11, 2025, the personnel were advised to conduct the operation professionally and to avoid any form of human rights abuse. However, COP Dr. Siedu Gariba, Director General Technical, urged the personnel to remain firm in the face of threats whilst maintaining professionalism.
We are going to undertake a special operation in the region. You know, the locations will be disclosed as we move. All what the Inspector General of Police want you to do is to be professional, extremely professional as you conduct your business. Please execute the tasks according to the briefing that has been given to you. And as we go, please make sure that you are firm, you are robust, you are professional in the execution of your tasks.
COP Joseph Oklu also reiterated the need for the operation to be conducted in a strict compliance with the law.
We are a law enforcing agency. We are supposed to ensure that as we work, we enforce the law as well. One very important aspect of what we are going to do is that we must also acknowledge the fact that we are going to work with and on human beings. Let's ensure that we do not trample on the law as we execute our duty. Let's respect their humanity, let's respect their rights, but at the same time, if anybody goes against the law must deal with the person.
Following these briefings, the team departed Kumasi and arrived in Agyabeng around 4 a.m., where they began rounding up men in the community. The sudden operation created tension and shock among residents, with signs of distress, as wife, girlfriends, and family members of the arrested suspects broke down in tears. despite initial resistance from some suspects, police personnel conducted themselves professionally and avoided any violation of individual rights. The suspects were later transported to Kumasi Police Training School for interrogation and screening. The police command, in collaboration with the military command, will brief the media after the screening exercise is complete. Reporting for GHOne News, Isaac Justice Bediako, Kumasi.
Away from that, state prosecutors are expected to rely on four witnesses in the case in which Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Bernard Boisiako, is facing charges including allegedly assigning mineral rights without approval. Mr. Boisiako, popularly known as Chairman Wontumi, has been charged together with Kwame Entry, a managing director of Akonta Mining, currently at large, and Akonta Mining, the company itself. On today, Wednesday, November 12, when the case was called for case management conference, it's emerged that the state has filed further disclosures, although the court's copy is yet to be made. It's yet to be on the docket. The prosecutors indicated to the court, presided over by Justice Audrey Tate, that they will rely on four witnesses. The case has been adjourned to November 27, 2025 for case management conference. Andy Apiakubi, lawyer for Chairman Wontumi, spoke to GHOne after the case was adjourned.
As fresh witness statements today. Two more witnesses. It means that we need to study the witness statements before we come back to the court. So the matter has been adjourned to 27th of November for us to come and have the CMC. So the business of the day of the CMC didn't happen today. It's been adjourned to 27th. So we are grateful for your continued support.
There was some conversation about the total number of witnesses the state was going to rely on.
Yes.
Was it settled? Is it 5 or 4?
Yes, it is 4. The Attorney General had suggested 5, but from the records, we only have 4 witness statements. So we brought that to the attention of the court, and therefore, on the reconciliation, we have now come to the position that we are going to be dealing with 4 witnesses. That is all for the day. We'll come back on the 27th.
Thank you.
Let's engage our court correspondent here at the EIB Network, Mutala Ndusa, for an update on this particular case and more happening in court. Mutala, tell us more than what we already know about the case concerning Akonta Mining and what happened in court today.
Well, Emmanuel, this very case is before Justice Audrey Kokuvite, and the business of the day was for case management conference. Case management conference in the sense that prosecution had earlier filed disclosures, all the evidential processes document that it will rely on in prosecuting this case, and that we were told was filed on the 11th of this month. Of course, once that came to bear, we were told today by lawyers of the accused person that they have been served with their processes, but then they will need time to be able to peruse it to know that whatever they have been served is what the AG has filed. The court rightly indicated that, yes, a copy is not on the file of the court, and therefore an adjournment will be needed. But the prosecution indicated clearly that they will be relying on 4 witnesses to prosecute this very case in which Chairman Wontumi or Bernard Boisiako, the Ashanti Regional Chairman, and his company, Akonta Mining, are before the court for allegedly assigning mineral rights without license. They have pleaded not guilty, but they will have to wait until the 27th of November to come for the case management conference to be conducted, and possibly a date will be fixed for the trial to begin.
Now, Mutala, yesterday we got notice of the matter involving Gift Yowareman concerning the NSA scandal. We do understand that she's finally met the bail conditions.
Yeah, so if you add today, 21 days since she was granted bail on the 22nd of October, 10 million Ghana cedis bail sum, 3 sureties, 2 of them to be justified. He has been placed on stop list, but then she has not been able to meet the conditions until yesterday around 3:40 thereabout, where she arrived in court together with her husband and some of the legal team members, signed that particular processes at the court, went to NIB to also complete the processes there. And as we speak, Gifty Oware, who has been slapped with some 6 counts, which she pleaded not guilty in relation to the ghost name scandal, the National Service ghost name scandals. I can tell you that she's now been released on bail, and at the next court date, she'll be coming from home to attend court.
Mutala, thank you so much for the update. Mutala Inusa is our legal affairs correspondent here at the EIB Net, probing and bringing you up to speed on what has been happening at our courts, the country. Away from that, investigators probing the August 6 helicopter crash at Adansi Krofum near Obuase have concluded that a tragedy was triggered by sudden weather changes, ruling out human error or mechanical failure. The Z9 aircraft, which was on an anti-Galamsey operation to Obuase, crashed, claiming the lives of 5 passengers and 3 crew members. Briefing the media at the presidency, lead investigator Captain Retired Paul Forger revealed that although the pilots lacked formal weather updates for the route, the chopper was in good condition to operate. There's more in this report by our presidential affairs correspondent Abdul Hanan Adam.
The helicopter was airworthy, but it lacked additional safety enhancements. For instance, the terrain awareness warning system. Now, the terrain awareness warning system, for instance, is predictive. Seconds before impact, the crew stated that they could see the high ground below, so they'd gone over it. Suddenly thereafter, the helicopter that was flying up without any change in its power or in the pitch which we use to go up and down, suddenly lost height and impacted a ridgeline at about 1370 feet above sea level. And this was about 6.5 miles from the destination, and this happened at 9:58. The investigation determined that the accident was caused by the sudden loss of altitude and lift due to downdraft. This loss of altitude without change in power or pitch altitude is consistent with downdraft associated with changing environmental conditions over high terrain. We have recommended that the Air Force acquire modern aircraft with terrain avoidance warning systems and modern navigation systems. That the aircraft should have cockpit voice recorders and flight data recorders, which are the audiovisual capable types. That the Air Force should invest in simulators for recurrent training. That they contract certified aviation weather provider or providers, and that Ghana as a nation should try to have en route navigational aids, especially in remote areas.
Meanwhile, the minority in Parliament is calling on the government to begin the implementation of the recommendations of the report. In a statement signed by the ranking member of the Committee of Defence and Interior, Reverend John and Tim Fojo, the minority caucus urged government to, in the spirit of transparency and full disclosure, make available the whole report to the minority in order to offer its objective and comprehensive view on the findings. Watching Newsroom on GHOne TV. After this break, we have more for you. Stay with us. Welcome back from the break. Now reacting to the development in matters concerning the report into the August 6 helicopter crash, retired Ghana Air Force Wing Commander Patrick Nelson Sogbojo stated that urgent steps must be taken to ensure safety of persons who use the aircraft.
When they are manufacturing aeroplanes, they don't manufacture one special for the Air Force, the jet fighters. They manufacture them, and then they have the civil and then the military version. It's like you going to buy a car and wanting some gadgets will fitted in them. That has nothing to do with the ability of the aircraft to fly. So you have to get that equipment inside your aircraft. But basically, it's not compulsory that you should have, depending on your operational capability and what you use the machine for. You may not need an A, B, or C. And also, aircraft is not judged by the age, by how long it is. We work with flying hours. I believe you've flown few times. Some of the airplanes you use will be 30, 40 years old. But the fuselage, I'm saying. But the flying hours, you have to go and do check 1, check 2, check 3. It gets to a point that you have to fly the machine back to manufacturing, like the presidential jet aircraft. So the idea that the planes are old is neither here or there.
There's still newsroom on GHOne TV now to a rather sad development, and we do understand from the Ghana Armed Forces that 6 persons, together with many others, injured at Elwak this morning. 6 persons have actually died following a stampede during the Ghana Armed Forces recruitment exercise at Elwak Sports Stadium. Now, according to a statement from the Ghana Armed Forces side by Acting Director General for Public Relations Veronica Agyabeng, it regrets to inform the general public of this tragic stampede, which happened prior to the commencement of the 2025-2026 recruitment exercise, which was held today, Wednesday, November 12, at the Elwak Sports Stadium in Accra. Now, preliminary investigations indicate that the stampede was triggered by an unexpected surge of applicants who breached security protocols and rushed into the gates ahead of scheduled screening of about 6:20 a.m. today. Now, this unfortunate incident, according to the Ghana Armed Forces, led to the death of 6 potential recruits and many others injured. The injured are currently receiving emergency medical care at the 37 Military Hospital. The Ghana Armed Forces assures the general public that medical teams are working tirelessly to stabilize affected individuals. It says that arrangements are being made to notify the families of the 6 persons that died. A rather unfortunate incident occurring this morning, but Solomon Salah was at Elwak Sports Stadium this morning. We have him on the phone lines to tell us what happened this morning. Solomon, we are grateful that you could share with us the news of what happened this morning at Elwak. Tell us more beyond the statement we are getting from the Ghana Armed Forces. What actually led to the stampede?
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. What really happened was the number of people that came was the place was too choked. With the Ghana Armed Forces, when they came, they were trying to maintain a peace and order, but the place wasn't well enough for all of us. People came were even more than 1,000 people. So when it was choked like that, pressure was just too much. And people also came early in the morning. Some also or also coming. They couldn't survive the pressure. That was it.
Understand. When it happened, were there military persons around? Were there any security service personnel around to check you, to put you in order? Was there any form of engagement or direction for persons there to actually be in line before this particular incident?
Yes, please. They were there. But the problem was that we were placed we wasn't well equipped for all of us. So I think that's the reason why the incident happened.
Solomon, we are grateful that you could speak with us here on YouTube. Solomon Zala was given an eyewitness account of what happened over there. Let's speak to the security analyst Samuel Appiah to really deliberate this particular matter of Ghana Armed Forces recruitment. Samuel Appiah, we are grateful that you could join us to have this particular conversation. We are witnessing the loss of potential recruits and many others injured. One would ask, couldn't we have avoided this particular instance?
Well,
we have unfortunately lost Samuel Appiah, who is a security analyst. We'll try and reach out to him again to have a conversation on what we brought to you earlier concerning the Ghana Armed Forces recruitment exercise at the Elwak Sports Stadium here in Accra, Ghana. We do understand that a stampede has led to the loss of 6 potential recruits. Their families are yet to be informed about the loss of close relations as well. We do understand that many others have actually been transferred to 37 military hospitals to receive treatment after suffering some injuries. All of this happened, we do understand, at about 6:20 a.m. today at the Elwak Sports Stadium, where these potential recruits were going to be interviewed or, for lack of better description, assessed for the Ghana Armed Forces. We have Samuel Appiah back with us on Zoom. Samuel Appiah, was asking earlier that this instance where we have this unfortunate incident, could we have better managed the recruitment system to have avoided this?
Yes, I think the Ghana Armed Forces could have avoided these overcrowding incidents, and in a sense that they could have earmarked different places so that the people will be, directed to go to those centers, not necessarily bringing all the potential recruits to camp at Elwak Sports Stadium. I think that was a misstep that they should have, or they could have seen this happening and so try to avoid it by segregating the centers to maybe, even if it is in Greater Accra, you can make it 3 or 4 areas, and the officers will meet them so they can have this exercise conducted. If you cannot and you don't want to use the digital system of everybody going there, you can do everything even through the digital system, and medical reports will be generated.
We have lost Samuel Appiah. He was mentioning to us that the military could have conducted this exercise in a much more better manner. He was pushing for a segregation, putting them into various centers if the military could not even trust the digital system. Samuel Appiah is back. Samuel, I'll allow you for you to land on your point.
Yes, so what I was trying to say is that we are in the modern and digitalized world. It's high time we took advantage of technology to avoid these avoidable, sad incidents we are hearing this morning. And even if we want to see the people physically, I think that the last time the police administration rolled up a program that was very fantastic. They led the people to go into various, places where they could not have been overcrowded, because you go per where your district and your jurisdiction is, and then you go through the screening and everything. I think the army should look into those, ideas and segregate the grounds. The locations should be 3, 4, 5 in Greater Accra, and the people can go there and take the exercise. In my opinion, in my expert opinion, in the modern days, I think this is what they have to adapt.
Now, speaking of what has happened now and the fact that the Ghana Armed Forces is saying that further updates will be communicated to the public, beyond changing the whole recruitment system to look at what other modern societies are doing in the immediate run, in the short run, what are you expecting of the military to do now, especially immediately, since perhaps launching a digital system and having to look for other centers might be a bit challenging, so they may have to still resort to the old system. In the immediate short term, what are you expecting of them?
Well, if they cannot resort to the digitalized world or going by the system of IT, I would want to recommend that the best approach for them is that they should do it at the local level. They should do it at segregated. If Greater Accra, as I said, they have to divide it into 4 places where people can go and have. Ashanti region should do it over there, and they have to segregate it. In the various regional capitals, they can have more than 1 centers where people can go and have these exercises conducted, because the people are many. They are in thousands. And so if you want to keep them in a single location, you are going to have a very big challenge as far as the recruitment exercise is concerned. So I believe that they will look into it now that this incident has happened. Respectfully, I think they have to take a second look and review their strategies and their method of doing the recruitment exercise. The best approach is segregate it into smaller, sections.
Now, we are getting unconfirmed reports that the death surge is now 12 and not 6 people. Now, given that we are seeing more than 10 people, unconfirmed reports saying that they are dead, what action are you expecting of the military, especially in ensuring that its house is put into order? Should there be sanctions? Should there be punishment? Who should actually take responsibility of what happened?
It's very disheartening, I must say. And I will be a bit surprised if the army did not anticipate this, overcrowding happening today, because what I know, most of these people have filled the forms online and they've been given the date to report to the LWAC. So the army know the number of people they were anticipating today. In that sense, proactive security measures, you dispatch your men and ensure that the men are on the grounds before the potential recruits even arrive, and directions are given. If they need to form queues, if they need to be even on the field, the LWAC, they need to divide them. These are all measures that are supposed to have been taking place before the people get there and overcrowd them. And at a point, what is key is looking at the numbers. Okay, the best thing, I think it's a failure on their part, the fact that they could not anticipate the possibility of over 10,000 people or more getting to the LWAC Stadium and the possibility of these things happening. I think it's quite unfortunate for we to allow this situation on our hands. Very, very unfortunate. And I believe that they have to call off these, probably the recruitment exercise. And if they are going to do it in the near future, they need to think about making it in smaller groups in the areas where people can easily go, even giving them time. If you segregate it, let the person know that you are scheduled for maybe Wednesday, 10 a.m., you are scheduled for Friday, 11 a.m., so that the people can go there. These are easy things done everywhere in the world. Why do we have to wait for these things to happen? Very much unfortunate incident. Very, very much unfortunate. And the military hierarchy must be responsible for this.
Samuel Appiah, we are grateful that you could speak with us on this particular subject. Samuel Appiah is a security analyst, and he says that the exercise must be called off. He's asking that the military high command takes responsibility for the loss of lives, which we understand the non-confirmed reports. The 6 that we reported is now surged to 12. But let's cross over to social media and see what people are saying about this unfortunate incident. And Amaka, what are our viewers saying?
Seems like an avoidable loss of life. We posted about the incident on Facebook. David Effa says, would it be possible to conduct these activities or exercises at the regional level or within the northern and southern sectors instead of centrally? We also have Adam, who says, sorry for the lost souls and the injured ones, but this is what happens when a good government is in power. Every individual wants to benefit from the government. This is not something we need to politicize. Ketria says, oh, Ghana, Agyabeng. We also have Carl. They already know the selected applicants, and I can say for sure they are not part of this hungry crowd. We also have Mohammed. They've got to change their way of recruitment. It doesn't have to be like this. Then we also have Maximus Mercy. The problem is that most of these desperate, jobless individuals can't be enlisted due to the limited space. We also have Chantel, who says, your health first, or if you know you have some kind of illness, don't try, your life first. Then we have David, who says, those who will be recruited are somewhere relaxing, cry. We also have Zacchaeus. What people don't know is that the military is not a job opportunity, but a calling to serve the nation. After joining, you lose your freedom, and the salary can never make you rich. Many people have realized this after joining and regret it in silence. Wiz says, so state burial again, Anna. Then Maxwell says, all this is because of lack of trust in our systems process. Like this can easily be arranged in batches in the form of an interview format. Sammy is asking, isn't there a better way to conduct this military enlistment than overcrowding thousands under the scorching sun? This puts lives at risk and shows poor planning. With modern tools, we can use regional screenings or scheduled batches to make it safer and more organized. Ghana is a village. And our last comment here is Kwabena Timothy. Why must they do this whole process in just one day? This is an excellent question. Can't they just use a whole week? Can't they use a whole week for this and let them come in batches? It makes no sense to do this whole training in one day. Well, if indeed it's even one person that has died because of this, this is an awful, awful incident. May their souls rest in perfect peace. My name is Nanama Akwaima. Back over to you.
Sharing with us what our viewers are saying, rather unfortunate incidents, but we'll bring you up to speed on all of this happening in our subsequent broadcast as and when we hear from the Ghana Armed Forces. Away from that, the Majority Leader, Mahama Yariga, has petitioned the Speaker of Parliament, Alban Bagbin, to refer the Minority Leader, Alexander Fenyomarkin, to the Privileges Committee for allegedly defying a parliamentary resolution that removed him from Ghana's delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament. In a petition submitted to the Speaker on Tuesday, November 11, Mr. Yariga described the Minority Leader's conduct as a breach of parliamentary privilege and urged that disciplinary action be taken against him.
I have cited the provisions of Order 31-0, which says that any act or omission which affronts the dignity or authority of Parliament, Mr. Speaker, and let me emphasize, authority of Parliament, any act that affronts the authority of the Parliament of Ghana or produces any such effect constitutes contempt of Parliament and a breach of parliamentary privilege. Mr. Speaker, by defying this Parliament resolution, removing him from the delegation to the ECOWAS Parliament, and actually going to Port Harcourt and attending the session, Mr. Speaker, he has clearly affronted the dignity and engaged in an act that constitutes an affront to the authority of this Parliament. And it is time that the Honorable Fenyomarkin be put in his proper place.
Let's have a conversation on this with the communications lead at the Parliamentary Network Africa, Clement Apollo. Clement, thanks for joining us on this broadcast. Now, what form, the Speaker is going to make a determination on whether or not he will refer the Minority Leader to the Privileges Committee today when Parliament sits. Hopefully in the afternoon we'll get a particular update. But the referral and the punishment thereof, what form is it likely to take should that happen?
All right, thank you very much. The referral to the Privileges Committee, as you rightly said, is in the hands of the Speaker. So today we'll all hear what the Speaker has to say about it. But, you know, when you are sent to the Privileges Committee, there are so many things that could happen to you, including even getting you out of Parliament, even getting you out of your privileged positions in Parliament and all that. So there are far-reaching recommendations that can come out of the Privileges Committee's recommendations. It will depend on how you respond to the issues there and how grave the issues are. So there are far-reaching recommendations that could even spell doom for the member of parliament, that is even losing your seat and all that. You know, parliament is a strong institution, and a lot of powers are vested in the authority of the Speaker of Parliament. That is through his committees that he set, and the Privileges Committee is one of them. That is supposed to instill discipline among members of Parliament, and also members of the general public who infringe upon the privileges of the Parliament of Ghana and members of Parliament. So some of the recommendations can be very, very far-reaching.
Now, Clement, I would want to ask you, especially given what we saw this week, on Monday, at the CJ nominees vetting, what we saw happen between the majority leader and the minority leader. There's been concerns that this particular motion, if granted and approved and referred thereof by the Speaker, could deepen the perceived friction between both sides of the House. Is a valid concern?
All right. You see, we shouldn't have gotten to this place in the first place if Mr. Speaker was not treating some of these infractions and issues that were coming with kid gloves. We have time and again at Parliamentary Network Africa petition Parliament, petition Mr. Speaker himself about how he deals with some of this misconduct and issues that comes out every now and then with Parliament. You remember similar things happened in the 8th Parliament involving the election of Mr. Speaker himself. Now that thing repeated itself in the 9th Parliament at the beginning with the vetting. And it seems that the vetting committee is becoming known for the wrong reasons in the media all the time, even though they are doing a good job elsewhere. You realize that they allow some of these small issues to mar the beauty of the Parliament itself and then the committee itself. And we have time and again called on the Speaker and the Parliament of Ghana to set clear guidelines, to set clear examples of people who misconduct themselves. Just this particular month, we sent out the release celebrating or pointing out 9 months after the incident that happened with the vetting of the ministerial appointees. And Mr. Speaker set out an ad hoc committee to ensure that those who perpetrated this are brought to book. Up till date, we haven't heard anything. We even went ahead to make an RTI request on that particular issue. Up till date, we haven't heard anything. So we think that if we don't take the bull by the horn and institute some corrective measures, we will keep on apologizing, we'll keep on saying these diplomatic words and things, and we'll still be having these issues rearing its head at us all the time. So we think that this is not a time for apologies. It is time to take action. Anybody that is found culpable as misbehaving in Parliament must be meted the real rigors of what the standing orders say. And then, without looking at whose ox is God, met out the punishment that must be given to the person. Because if we don't do that, and tomorrow maybe we get somebody who is not too close to us and we decide to punish, then people will now start questioning the fairness in the system. That's why we are saying that no matter whose ox is God, let's find a way to show that we are in charge of the situation.
Clement, we are grateful that he could speak with us here. He is with PN Africa, and he shares his thoughts and views on discipline in Parliament. Away from the business of the legislature, we talk about roads here because the Municipal Chief Executive for Jazzakan and the OT Region Park, Davis Agyabeng, has assured chiefs and people of the municipality that the government is committed to addressing the poor state of roads within the Jazzakan township. Speaking in an interview with our correspondent Benjamin McCaffrey Atiku at Jazzakan, Mr. Agyabeng disclosed that plans are underway to give the roads and other major routes linking GHOne to adjoining districts and municipalities in the OT region a significant facelift as part of government's Big Push initiative spearheaded by the president.
The GHOne district was established on 10th March 1989 from the former Buem Krachi districts under the legislative instrument 1464. It is one of the oldest districts under the then Volta region, but now among the 9 administrative districts of the current OT region. On 11th May 2021, the district became a municipality when its original status of an ordinary district assembly was changed. The municipal capital, GHOne, is located along the famous Eastern Corridor Road. In spite of the strong economic potentials of the municipality, its road networks are nothing to write home about. The GHOne township roads are not only bedeviled with several potholes, but also characterized by poor drainage systems, some of which have become death traps. The municipal chief executive for the area, Park Davis Agyabeng, told our news team in an interview that the assembly has been engaging the needed authorities on the issue, assuring that the roads will be done.
We are doing everything humanly possible, even though it is not the assembly, or the assembly do not have the strength to construct road. We are engaging with authorities. I am aware work has been done, estimates have been given. Officials from Ghana Highways Authority, Accra, are coming to the municipality. They'll be going around to do some assessment, and from there, work will begin. But I cannot give specific time. Let me once again assure the people of the GHOne municipality that this road will be done.
Honorable Agyabeng disclosed that under the Big Push initiative of the president, some major roads in the municipality would also see the light of day.
The GHOne Bodada Baika Lolobi Road is under the Big Push. The GHOne Rara Road, the GHOne Okada Krum Kwame Krum Road, the GHOne Atonko Aka Abutasi Roads, all under the Big Push will be fixed, and many other roads will also be fixed. The president has also promised that every year 10 kilometers of road will be constructed. And so let me assure the people of this municipality that we are doing everything humanly possible to get our roads fixed.
In a world where development plans are often driven from the top down and American... You're still watching News with me on GHOne TV. After this break, we'll bring you more.
Welcome to the Africa Prosperity.
It's now for us to bring you more updates in the world of business. And here in a world where development plans are often driven from the top down, an American economist is challenging that model. Speaking at an economic summit in Accra, Director of Education and Senior Research Fellow at the American Institute for Economic Research, Ryan Young, says governments should focus less on handouts and more on removing the barriers that prevent people from building their own success.
Poverty reduction remains one of Africa's greatest challenges. Many governments and leaders have over the years professed varied solutions which have all failed to achieve their intended goals. In the estimation of the Director of Education and Senior Research Fellow at the American Institute for Economic Research, Ryan Young, the answers lie not in aid diagrams but in people's own potential.
And to become the sort of entrepreneurs and individuals that actually can transform their own lives, working with their neighbors, their community, in a way that doesn't rely simply on a centralized plan or other people doing it for them.
He argues that true transformation begins when governments create an environment of freedom where individuals, families, and communities can act on their ambitions without bureaucratic interference.
Then we build from a position of freedom, both economic and personal, and of agency or personal responsibility, where individuals are assumed to be enough to make their lives better, and where we don't have to rely on government to do it for them.
He called for open and competitive credit systems, allowing lenders and entrepreneurs to make decisions based on risk, reward, and innovation.
Creates an opportunity for there to be diversification in the sort of lending done. Instead, it should be people making those decisions as they evaluate the risk and the potential reward.
The summit attracted local economic experts, including the Vice President of Imani Africa, Kofi Bentel.
Being confident about the future is a function of knowing how we have arrived where we have and whether we have the wherewithal to sustain what we've done going forward. If the government succeeds, everybody benefits. So I want the government to succeed. If the city is stable, everybody benefits. I want the city to be stable.
Various speakers agree that prosperity cannot be centrally planned. It grows from the ground up when citizens are free to dream, work, and create value.
Ghana's growing plastic waste problem is choking our drains, polluting our seas and making flooding worse every rainy season. One man is contributing to solving the problem. Environmental activist Makafui Awuku is turning discarded sachet water plastics into durable school chairs and tables, giving hope to students, especially in rural communities who often have no furniture to sit on. His innovation tackles two challenges at once: Ghana's mounting plastic crisis and the persistent shortage of classroom furniture. Zuleiha Nuhu has more on this report.
The rhythmic hum of machines fills a modest workshop here in Accra. Piles of used sachet water plastics, once an eyesore littering streets and drains, now sit neatly sorted, waiting to be recycled. What many consider waste, Makafui sees as raw material for change. From this small space, he and his team are turning discarded plastics into classroom chairs and tables. It's a simple idea with powerful impact, tackling Ghana's mounting plastic pollution while bringing dignity and comfort to classrooms that have long gone without furniture.
We already have about 400 desks in schools, more than 10 schools. We've set up a computer lab for a school in Afienya also, and we've built a bus shelter or a cooling shed. One of it has been installed at Accra Academy already. So there's already so much impact, and I've already trained 15,000 young people in 3 African countries over the period.
Makafui's work is already making a real difference, and he says this is just the beginning.
The goal is to, 1, fix the 2 million desk deficit issues in the country, try fixing similar problems in other African countries that have similar challenges and similar situation. Then also, we have a roofing tile product also from the pure water sachet.
We have sports news up next with Benjamin Yamwa.
Welcome to Sports. So the Black Stars today train in, of course, in Nagoya in Japan ahead of the GHOne Cup tournament. Of his 22 players he called up, available this morning in camp to train with a team. The Stars are with our key players: GHOne, Thomas Partey, Mohamed Kudus, Alex Jiku, Ernest Niama, and Abdul Fattah Shahaku, who have all been excused for the GHOne Cup. Ghana will play against Japan this Friday before they take on South Korea on Tuesday in a Karen Championship. Let's do some Scrabble news now. Well, the World English Scrabble Players Association Championship has begun at the Palms by Eagles Hotel here in Accra. The tournament will see 24 nations from Africa, Europe, Asia, and America represent their nations in a 3-day event that is being hosted by Ghana for the first time. Over 280 athletes are expected to be part of a competition with experienced players from Britain, South Africa, India, and Nigeria. Part of the championship being ongoing currently as we speak now here in Accra, Ghana. Don't forget at 1 p.m. today on the game, we have the draw for the SVC Volleyball Championship coming up in Ghana this weekend. So the draw is on the game. Tune in and join us, I must say, from 1 p.m. on the game on GHOne TV and also on Star FM. That's it for sports. Back to you, Mark, for the rest of the bulletin.
Well, up next, we have news in the entertainment zone. The Malaysian High Commission says it is ready to support Kenyans seeking to visit Malaysia in 2026. Minister Councillor of the Commission, Syed Noor bin Syed Yusuf, announced plans to assist with visa applications as part of efforts to promote Malaysia as a preferred tourism destination and also strengthen the bond between both countries.
The Visit Malaysia 2026 campaign is broader vision to attract more African tourists by showcasing Malaysia's rich cultural heritage, modern infrastructure, and unique tourism experiences. The engagement brought together key players from Ghana's tourism industry, travel agencies, hospitality sector, and private businesses to explore ways of promoting Malaysia as a destination of choice for Ghanaians. Speaking to the news team, Minister Councillor at the Malaysian High Commission, Syed Noor bin Syed Yusuf said the initiative is aimed at fostering closer people-to-people ties between Ghana and Malaysia through travel, cultural exchange, and business opportunities.
This dialogue that we had today served as a platform to reconnect, re-energize, and reimagine the possibilities of partnerships between Malaysian tourism authorities and our valued Ghanaian stakeholders.
The Commission also assured its commitment to simplifying visa procedures and create tailored travel packages to make the initiative accessible and easier.
Have taken initiative to actually facilitate and to make it much easier process for the Ghanaian to travel to Malaysia because the volumes now have been increased and we are just a few numbers of people, staff at the High Commissions who does this processing. And also, this also in line of the visit of Malaysia to attract more tourists to come to Malaysia for next year. Of course, we will be very happy to facilitate all the visa applications.
Other tourism stakeholders shared their perspectives regarding the initiative.
I think that is a beginning in collaborating with Malaysia to see how we can promote our respective diversity in terms of what we have, as Ghana have a lot also to offer. So I'm very happy.
It's very impressive to describe it and very engaging. And I think this is the way forward. We've learned a lot about Malaysian tourism industry, and at the same time, we also, contributed from our side, from Ghana, what we have. And I think collaboration like this would always, bring more business to not only Malaysia, but between Ghana and Malaysia.
The session concluded with an interactive question and answer segment, allowing stakeholders to seek clarification and share ideas on enhancing tourism collaboration between the two countries.
That does it for the entire broadcast. We are grateful that you could join us. My name is Emmanuel. Agyabeng. Good afternoon.